Well, today's protest is about really the land grab that is proposed here in Walthamstow. The council, the right-wing Labour council, sanctioned just before Christmas plans to build 4 tower blocks on this space, which is a public space, and particularly sanctioned the building of a 29-storey tower block, the moving of the children's playground up to the most polluted part of the square, which is just near the bus station. But the worst part of it is that they've allowed these plans to go through with no firm commitments of genuinely affordable homes. You know, 46% of our community are on or below the living wage, and these homes start at £350,000. There's very few people from this area that will be able to afford them, which suggests they will be sold to richer people from outside the area. We've got a terrible homeless problem in this area anyway, and for many people this is like the final straw for what is happening in London, and we need to have some sort of a fight back against it, and that's what today is.
I'm going to organise a speaker's corner over there for anyone who wants to come up and say a few words. So we'll have this song.
Well, we're going to be gathering for some speeches, and then hopefully we're going to occupy the land that the developers are going to take. It's been marked out with a yellow line, which is a sizable chunk of the space, and then hopefully we're going to have a little march around the square, and then we're going to have musicians and bands, etc. So hopefully it will be a part protest and part celebration.
Hello everybody, fellow residents of Waltham Forest. Now, look over there. There's going to be 500 homes built. And you would imagine that is great news. Is it? No. We've got 8,000 families registered as in housing need in this borough. Do you think any one of them is going to get one of those places? There's a rising number of homeless. Don't you see them in the doorways outside Tesco's? Do you think any one of those homeless are going to get one of those flats? And what about the young people who are bravely doing something called sofa surfing? Or they have to pay half their wages for a room in a shared house till they're about 40. My God, that is not good news. But who'll benefit? Well, the speakers have said it's going to be rich investors. It's going to be property developers. And these property developers, they've been helped by various, mostly Tory government, but not exclusively, going right back to Margaret Thatcher herself, that hated woman, who started selling off council homes, and right up to last year, when David Cameron oversaw the introduction of the Housing and Planning Act, which makes it so easy for companies like Capital and Regional to make a proposal, put in an application and get it just like that. But they're not only helped by the government, they help themselves. Didn't you hear about the councillor in Westminster who received 500 freebies? Meals, trips to the theatre, trips to Spain. They were all given by property consultants, estate agents, developers, and guess who he was? He just happened to be the chair of the planning committee. Now, I think we need to ask some serious questions about Waltham Forest councillors. If anyone can do some serious digging about how much they have been wined and dined. I don't know, But I do know that last September the council called something called a housing summit. There were lots of people there in the assembly rooms. It was stuffed with property developers, companies looking to make money out of Walthamstow. And of course, our leader was there. Now, we note some of these companies are now throwing up flats all around Walthamstow. So we can see what's going on. Now, we want homes. We need homes. But we want homes that we can afford. This model of using property developers to build homes is not working, and it's not the way to get affordable homes. We've got to stop this plan, otherwise the whole plan of building tower blocks everywhere will besiege us. We know already Stretton's have got an application in to build a monster block above their property on Hoe Street. We've got to stop it. Now, we're saying enough is enough. This today is a watershed, and we in Save Our Square, in the Trades Council, in the Socialist Party and in other parties, that we are prepared to do whatever it takes to stop these developers. But we can't do it on our own. We need you. We need every single one of you. We need to fight for a future. We need to rise up and fight, not just for ourselves, but for our children and our grandchildren. Now, we can do it. We've shown today that there is a groundswell of opposition, but we've got to step up this campaign. This can't be a bit of letting off steam and then going home. Capital and regional can ride that little storm. This council can ride that little storm. We've got to step it up. Now, on our stall, the Save Our Square stall, you'll find these leaflets. We've produced enough for everybody to take away a handful, to give to your friends, your family, your neighbours, your work colleagues, and say, get involved. And it lists all the things that you can do. So we want you to come with us to visit the offices of Capital and Regional. The details are on there. But there's one very important event coming up, and that is the local elections. Now, in those local elections, there will be candidates asking for your vote, your blessing for them to do X, Y, and Z. Now, we want you, along with us, to ask every candidate a question. Are you in support of the plans, or are you opposed to the plans? If they say they're in support of the plans, why on earth would anybody vote for them? And if they are opposed to the plans, and we know there are a few at least, we would say, put your head above the parapet, come out, start organising, get a council meeting and reverse the decision of the planning committee and throw out this planning application. Together we've got to stop these property developers. And yes, we do want a Corbyn government committed to building 1 million homes. So truly affordable homes, yes. Rent control, yes. Security of tenure, yes. But let's call time on greedy property developers. Out with Capital and Regional. Thank you. Homes for family! please.
Stop for profit!